Well, after our great hunt in Indiana, we got to take a few days break with our family. It's a little hard sometimes to take that break in November, but much needed. The weather was getting right. You know, we were excited to get to our ranch in northwest Oklahoma, the Wallahachie. This is the first year I've ever been able to hunt this farm. It's a place that's kind of got a whole lot of sacred meaning for us. You know, I helped run a lot of the cameras and planted a lot of the crops back in the day on the Wallahachie and was never able to hunt it. So to be able to do that this year was pretty exciting, and the weather was getting right. I mean, the time of the year and the weather got good, and you know, Jeff called, he killed the big 8 out of the bedroom set. And I mean, when you get the conditions right there in the second week of November, a lot of times pushing into the third week, it gets really, really good, and we were excited to get there. So going into this hunt, we pretty much knew which deer we were targeting. I mean, we had the flyer buck, we had the narrow buck, which was my favorite deer, and then we had the big 9. We had lots of other deer that were up and comers, but these were the deer that were mature that we were going to try to focus on going into this hunt. Well, the first day we didn't have the right wind for really where we wanted to go, so we decided to actually go to an observation stand. So it's actually about 100, 150 yards just off the Kansas line there. It's a spot where we can watch the pivot circle, the alfalfa pivot. You know, we had some weed out there also, but we just decided to go to that hawk blind that morning and see what we could see.
There's a big buck right here closer. See? Yeah. It's a big buck. It's a drop nine. Yep, that's definitely him. Flyer, flyer.
We weren't sure right off the bat what he was doing. He was just standing there down the river from us about 250, 300 yards. He was just standing there watching the river bottom. We kind of thought that he might have just been scanning the area for a doe. Big old mature deer. I'll never forget that. It was such a beautiful sight as that sun come up and that frost was burning off and he's standing over there.
This is the famed Wallahachie. We're on sacred ground right now. And one of our #1 target bucks is standing at 300 yards right now. Awesome way to start out the morning, to look down there and see a buck like that. The sun's starting to hit him, frost on his back, steam coming out of his mouth. Just awesome. Hopefully it's going to be a great morning.
Well, you know, we really weren't planning on sitting all day in this spot. We felt like being off of the field like that, we could watch the deer go to bed and we could slip out.
We've had bucks running around everywhere, and several of them went in over there. Just a few minutes ago, we seen the flyer buck kind of posturing and walking off another buck, so we're pretty sure they're bedded right there in those trees or the tamaracks. And our truck's only 50, 75 yards on the other side of those tamaracks.
These deer out in this part of the country a lot of times are used to pickup trucks checking wells. There's a well right there. So we actually just called Jeff. Jeff drove in, picked us up. It was just a great way to not spook him. So hopefully that afternoon we'd be able to get back into another stand we call a bedroom.
And we moved to this stand. This is probably where we should have been this morning. We also seen another big shooter right up here. He had another doe. They were both tended up, so locked up. So what we're hoping for tonight is we're just kind of in the middle. We haven't been here 5 minutes, and we already had a doe run through. So it's a lot of history in this spot on the Wallahachie. So hopefully this flyer buck is still right in here with that doe. We'll see what happens.
Well, going into that evening, we had high hopes hunting the bedroom set. We saw lots of deer that afternoon, you know, but no flyer buck. I'm sure he was locked down with that doe somewhere. It was just that time of year we were going to have to put our time in. Well, the next morning was a little slow, but we did have a pretty good high pressure day with the wind changing. But we were going to try to take a decoy, and we were going to go out and sit in the muddy blind on the alfalfa. Pretty excited about it. Actually, you know, it's a rifle blind, but being this time of year, the good thing about it, we knew we were going to see a lot of deer. Well, as you can tell, the conditions have changed this afternoon. Yeah, it turned a little bit windy. Well, that afternoon we had a great hunt. I mean, we saw tons of deer, lots of bucks. We actually saw the big 9. He was all the way out in the middle of the pivot, 300 or 400 yards away. He had a doe, obviously, still from, we seen him that the evening before, so he still had that doe. We also saw deer we call 4s, a great young 10-point. He actually came in bow range. He is going to be a hammer that we're after next year. And then right at dark, as it got completely dark, actually Big Al, one of our big deer from next year, another 4-year-old, walks right into the decoy. We weren't able to get footage of it, but just an awesome hunt for that type of night. I mean, the wind was howling, but there were deer everywhere, and it kind of let us know it was that time, and it was going to be a fun couple days.
Just all in all, a really, really, really good set. So. Wish we had a gun in our hand, it'd have been a whole lot funner, but still great to see. Still deer everywhere. They're piling in.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's product review. This week I want to dive in and talk about Realtree. You know, over the years I have been extremely blessed to shoot a lot of great deer in the US and Canada. And man, I know a lot of that. I have to look back, and I got lucky a lot of different times. But the one thing that I look back on, the consistency, is I've always had on Realtree. From the first deer I shot at 14 years old all the way till now, 51, I've wore nothing but Realtree. And I don't think that is a fluke. I will continue to use the best camo that's out there. It only gets better every year. And then Bill and Tyler Jordan are top notch. It doesn't get any better than that. You can bet Jeff Danker, Buckventures crew, we will always wear Realtree.
Well, you know, the next morning we didn't have the right wind for some of the areas we wanted to hunt around the pivot there on the flyer buck and stuff. So we just decided to go to a spot in the Red Hills. It's a blind we put up there for a gun stand, actually for mule deer mostly. There are some whitetails over there, but we just let the wind dictate where we were going to go. You always want to make sure you're hunting with the right wind, and then this time of year you never know what can happen.
This is the blind we call 21, and I'm gonna look for some muleys this morning, and then we got a couple big whitetails and arrow bucks been over here, and a couple other really good deer. So the T2 split buck, he's been here, so we'll just see. It's kind of a rifle blind, but it's where we needed to go for the wind, so we'll see what happens.
Well, you know, right off the bat, as it started getting light, we looked down the draw, and there's the narrow buck. And this buck has been so unpredictable, and to say I was surprised would be an understatement. But he was all over the place. He was 3 miles away on one of the spots, so to look down there and see him was kind of a shock in this area, but he was coming right at us.
Bet. You want it? Smoked him. Freaking smoked him. You can see him right there. Watch him. Go down, baby. I lost him. I lost him. You believe that? Oh my God. Oh, goodness gracious, thank the Lord. It looked like I smoked him, didn't it?
Yeah, you smoked him and his tail was, I mean, he was going down.
It's unbelievable. We haven't been here. I mean, just barely got light enough where we could see. And I've told Chancey several times one of my favorite deer on the whole ranch was an arrow buck. He's really tight, 10-point, just a beautiful buck. And we've been hunting the other side of the ranch. All the food's over there. We've had great hunts. This is where we've been hunting Triple Crown, and we've had this buck here several times on camera. And this morning, northeast is terrible for us, so we said, hey, we're just gonna go to 21 blind. It's a rifle blind, but we'll give it a shot. And as soon as it got light, we looked down and he was coming up the bottom. And he come right up through here and literally walked right up 25 yards right there. Of course, I got no signal to tell Jeff I just smoked him. Boy, I freaking believe that.
I made the perfect shot, and it's just hard to believe, honestly, looking back to see this spot where we were at in the Red Hills to shoot a deer of this caliber. Man, I was taken back a lot.
It's been about an hour, so I'm pretty sure he didn't make it very far. I'm gonna go down and grab the air, ease up through here and see if we can't find him. That's about as pretty as it gets right there. Look at that blood sport.
This is just an awesome moment for us to kind of look at, to be honest with you, a little teaching moment. I really didn't want to go to this spot. You know, there was several other spots I wanted to go to where the wind was marginal or not right, but we let the wind dictate where we were going to go. And in this circumstance, it's just a perfect situation where we were at the right spot at the right time with the right wind, and God blessed us.
Thank the Lord above. That's
Look at that. Oh, thank you, buddy. Absolutely incredible. Especially to shoot this deer kind of where we did. He summered almost 2 miles away. He's a traveler. We got him on a lot of different cameras. Last year he broke up a bunch. This year he just got a little bitty nip off of him. But he's been one of my favorite deer since last year. Just tight. I mean, look at that. What a freaking stud. Here in northwest Oklahoma, we are hunting the Wallahachie Ranch. This is the first time ever for me to hunt it. We had it for years and years, and Jeff and them always hunted it. Just being able to step foot on it is an amazing blessing. But honestly, not in a million years did I think we'd have an opportunity at him this morning. But only deer we seen, and hunting in a rifle blind, he walked right by at 25 yards.
Don't get old, does
No,
it?
it don't get old.
Shoot, man, put the neck on him.
That blue knock too would light it up down there.
Yeah.
Look good.
Yeah.
Well, just being able to share this with Jeff, this is the first deer I've ever shot on the Wallahachie in all the years I've known him, and it meant a lot just to have the opportunity, but also to have him and Cole and Chancey and all of us there together, because most of the time we don't get to do it.
The Wallahachie is so special, and here it is, guys. It's a 250, 260 pound animal.
And he's run down.
And run down.
We've had him 3 or 4 mile circle.
Yeah. Well, the work starts, I guess, Chancey and Cole. I mean, you need to film. We probably need to practice.
I need to practice.
Well, hey guys, welcome back to another Walk by Faith. Today we're turning to the 2 Corinthians 5:7 is basically the verse of Buckventures, and it says this, it says, "For we walk by faith, not by sight." Guys, I want to dive in this a little bit, and knowing that this is not a name it, claim it type deal. There's so many people out there, they think they can just believe it and it's going to come true. Basically, I believe what God is telling us here is to have faith in Him. He is in control of everything. Doesn't mean that bad things are not going to happen, because they are. But we know, as even in Romans 8:28, it tells us that He is working everything for good to those who love Him, so those that are saved. And we have a faith. We haven't seen Him, but we have that faith deep down, and truly Christ is living in us. So, for we walk by faith and not by sight. I just think that's so strong, is knowing that one day that we as Christians will live with Him, where there's no more tears, where there's no more pain, there's no more suffering. And that's the faith that we have, not while we're here, that bad things won't happen. Guys, thanks for watching this week, and remember, as we always say, shoot by sight and walk by faith.